Hi and welcome back to MRTV. This is the new version 2 of the HP Reverb G2. Now finally, this is available in most of Europe and in the UK. In the States, this had been available for quite a while now. The first version was plagued with quite a few problems, and HP says they have now solved those. For example, the AMD mainboard compatibility issues, then the Sweetspot and FOV problems that lots of people reported about, and last but not least, they also say they have improved the tracking volume. All of these I will check in this review of the revision 2 of the HP Reverb G2, and I'm also going to compare this headset with the Quest 2 to allow you to make a more educated decision which headset you're going to buy. Also, if you own a HP Reverb G2 version 1, I'm going to let you know if it's worth it for you to upgrade to this version. So absolutely stay tuned, watch the whole video because all of this goodness is coming up. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sebastian, and if you are excited about virtual reality and if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, then absolutely do that now and click on the bell button so that you don't miss any of my videos. And if you want to chat with me about the HP Reverb G2 or about any of the VR headsets out there, absolutely do join the MRTV Discord server. The link is down in the description of the video. And yes, I am waiting for you right now in this moment. So simply join. Let's start with the basics. The HP Reverb G2 Revision 2 is going to set you back $569 in the States. That's already including the controllers. In Europe, you got to pay €649, also including the controllers, and in the UK, unfortunately, I've just checked it, it's already sold out, but if you still want to buy it, you can buy it from Bestware, the link down in the description of this video. Let's talk about comfort and build quality of the HP Reverb G2 Revision 2. And well, nothing has changed. This is an incredibly well-built headset. Let me show it to you. And well, if you know the build quality of something like the Valve Index, then you know what you're getting here. You're getting a headset that is very well manufactured, very high quality, and yeah, simply a very nice headset. How about comfort? Still the same, just as good as the first revision, because basically it's all the same, right? I'm going to tell you, of course, the differences in a moment, but in terms of comfort, nothing has changed. This is an incredibly comfortable VR headset. The great thing is, if you know the comfort of the Valve Index, which is an incredibly comfortable headset, you know how comfortable this is, but it's even more comfortable because this is simply lighter as compared to the Valve Index. It is very balanced and simply great to wear. Now, one thing is different. The face gasket now, you don't really need to exchange it. For the first version, I told you go and exchange it if you want to get more FOV and a better sweet spot. Here, you don't have to do that anymore. You can keep the original, which is incredibly comfortable, right? And you don't need to change it because, well, the changes that I'm going to talk about in a moment. I also told you I wanted to compare the Reverb G2 with the Quest 2, and I'm also going to do that here in terms of comfort. This is more comfortable than the Quest 2 out of the box. When you get the Quest 2, you get an elastic strap. It's not so great, and well, the device is very front heavy. Here, directly out of the box, without having to buy anything, you get this really great head strap. Everything is super balanced, and it's simply more comfortable out of the box. Let's talk about the features of the Reverb G2 Revision 2. And well, we just talked about the head strap. Let's continue talking a bit about it. Well, it reminds us of the head strap of the Valve Index. The only difference, you don't have this knob here where you could set up the size of it. Instead, you have Velcro here. So you set up the Velcro once, and then it is set to your head size. And then, well, if you put it on, you see there's some kind of spring mechanism, and well, it will fit every time. Now, if you use this on your own, that is fantastic. So you don't have to think about it. It's always going to fit perfectly. But if you share this with someone, of course, then you have to change the Velcro, and that is not so great. It depends what you prefer. For me, it's okay since I'm now only using it here on my own. Also, no knob here, and actually I found out that lots of you like that feature, because if you're simming, if you're sitting in your simming seat, and then if you want to go back with your head, then this knob would be in the way. So many people actually really like that. What's also fantastic about the head strap, you can put it back 90 degrees, then easily get in, and then simply put this back and you're in the headset. And in the very beginning, I thought, okay, that's a nice to have thing, but actually it's fantastic if you compare it, for example, with the head strap of the Vario Aero, where you can't do it, and it's really complicated to get in if you have a big head. So this is really good. Then we have the same great 2 LCD panels in the headset, and we're going to talk about them when we talk about the visuals of the headset. But what I wanted to tell you, we have real IPD adjustments. So you see, the lenses and also the displays will move, and that is great for people that don't have the average IPD, the interpupillary distance, the distance between the eyes. And, well, for the Quest 2, it only has one display and only the lenses can move. So that is not ideal. This is much better here. Then also we have that very nice audio solution that we also already know from the first revision. It's still the same. These are the great headphones of the Valve Index. So these don't touch your ears. And for really long sessions, again, if you're simming for hours, this is fantastic. Also going to talk about those in this review. We're still looking at 4 cameras, 2 in the front and 2 at the sides, and these cameras are responsible for the tracking. HP says they have improved tracking, and I'm going to let you know all about this also in this review. But now let's talk about what has changed, and the biggest change is this here, the gasket, the face gasket. Let me get it out. The big difference now is that here you can take this part off. And if you take this part off, you can get way closer to the lenses with your eyes. So you can still put this in now. And now you are much closer to the lenses. And well, that is something that the HP Reverb G2 Revision 1 does not have. And well, this, I can tell you, this makes a big difference. So if you already own the G2 Revision 2 and you didn't know that, get this out. Get this out. I've heard from some people who didn't even know that and were using it like this. And I can tell you, get it out, you'll get much closer to the lenses with your eyes, and it's gonna be a much better experience. The Reverb G2 is a PC VR headset, so you do need a gaming PC in order to play VR games. Now you connect your device to your computer with this cable, and this is the new cable that HP has produced, and this indeed is much better. First of all, it still has the same connections here. We have a DisplayPort 1.4 and we have a USB-C. And well, if you don't have USB-C on your computer, they also will give you that adapter, and then you can use USB-A. Now, the cable from the first revision was kind of a problem because users who had a AMD mainboard often had problems and had to buy a USB hub in order to make it work. Now, with this cable, they indeed have solved this problem. Even if you have an AMD mainboard, you can use your new HP Reverb G2 Revision 2 without any problems. And I've heard from many of you who now use the new revision with AMD mainboards. So yes, thumbs up. HP indeed has solved the compatibility problem. So this they did. Now let's talk about the visuals of the HP Reverb G2 Revision 2. And nothing has changed here as compared to the first revision. And that is a good thing because this is still one of the very, very best looking VR headsets on the market, only trumped by the Vario Aero. But the Aero is so much more expensive with more than $2,000. So on a budget, this is still the very, very best looking VR headset on the market. we're still looking at the same two high-resolution LCD panels, both with a resolution of 2160 by 2160 pixels per eye. Now compare this with a 1860 by 1920 pixels of the Quest 2, and you will understand why this simply will give you a better picture in virtual reality. Also, we have a better quality LCD panel with better colors. The colors are so nice here, very bright, very vibrant, and it's simply a joy to look at them. Really, really good. For an LCD panel, the blacks are also good, but they are still LCD blacks. So if you're expecting like real blacks that you get from OLED displays, you will not get this here with the HP Reverb G2, but for an LCD panels, the blacks are also nice. Now, if you are a simmer, if you want to play racing games or flight sims, and if you're wondering, should you go for the Quest 2 or should you go for the HP Reverb G2, I can directly tell you now, simply go for the HP Reverb G2, because I know that you want to see more details in the distance. And well, this is simply so much better here with the Reverb G2. First of all, you get the higher resolution, but then, and that's also really important, for the display signal that you get here, you get it not compressed. You get the raw and beautiful DisplayPort 1.4 signal. For the Quest 2, once you get the data, you get them via the USB cable or via Airlink, but first they have to be compressed and then decompressed, and well, that will simply look not as good as the uncompressed picture that you can get here via DisplayPort. So if you're a simmer, directly go for the G2. So again, this will still give you the very best picture quality in virtual reality, only trumped by the Vario Aero, and it's still very competitive against the Aero. We have recently published a video where we tell you about 5 things that the G2 does better than the Aero, and you can watch it here. Now let's talk about the lenses of the HP Reverb G2 Revision 2. And also here, nothing has changed. They are still the same Fresnel lenses that we know from the first revision. And they are actually good. Yes, you have probably read something else on Reddit, that these lenses are terrible with a terrible sweet spot. But I can tell you, I have all the headsets on the market, and I can do A, B, C, D, E, F, G comparisons. And these Fresnel lenses, for Fresnel lenses, these are really good. The problem of the Revision 1 was that people didn't get close enough to the lenses with their eyes, right? Because this here, the face gasket, was simply not good enough. For my face, it worked, but well, for others, it didn't. They didn't get close enough to the lenses. And again, this has changed now. This has changed here with this new face gasket. You can simply take this out and then just see how much closer you can now get to the lenses by simply putting this off and directly putting it in. And getting so much closer to the lenses, it will allow you to get a better sweet spot, better edge-to-edge clarity, and even a better FOV. You can probably remember that for the first revision, I came up with that Frankenfoff mod, where you would simply mod this. But well, you totally don't need to do this anymore, because this here really, really works. And let me show you that in a through the lens video. Here you can see me getting in and out of the headset with my camera, and it's very easy for me to find that sweet spot, to find that spot where it's the sharpest. So you will not have a problem to find the sweet spot with the Reverb G2 Revision 2. Now, what about edge-to-edge clarity? What is that actually? If you look with your eyes to the left and the right within the headset, you will see a degradation of the image quality. That is normal for Fresnel lenses. That is much better in headsets with aspheric lenses, like, for example, the PSVR 1 and the Vario Aero, where simply everything is clear and you don't have so much of degradation as far as the quality is concerned. compared to other headsets with Fresnel lenses, the edge-to-edge clarity actually is not so much worse, especially if you have now found the correct position of your eyes in the sweet spot of this headset. However, I must also say, if you are coming from headsets that are not as sharp as the G2, like for example, if you're coming from the Rift or if you're coming from the Quest 1 or 2, you will probably have the feeling that the edge-to-edge clarity is not as high. Now, the reason is that those headsets simply are not as sharp, and well, the degrading image quality simply won't hit you as hard as it does here, where this headset is so sharp, and then you will see that degradation more clearly. So it simply depends on what you're used to and what you're expecting. But overall, this does not have a worse edge-to-edge clarity than other Fresnel lenses. So these lenses are actually good. Also, in terms of God rays, these Fresnel lenses can very well compete with the competition, and in direct A/B comparison with, for example, the Valve Index, this is much, much better. And even in comparison with the Quest 2, you will have less God rays here with the Reverb G2. Let's talk about the FOV, the field of view that you can see in virtual reality. And also, thanks to the new gasket, you will get more than you got before. Now with this, I get to an FOV of 98 horizontally and 90 degrees vertically. And that indeed is a good value. And compared to, for example, the Quest 2, I do get a bit more here out of the Reverb G2. So this is a good FOV, but of course, this cannot compete against the Valve Index or, for example, the Pimax headsets. But you get an FOV that is very, very comparable with that of the Quest 2. And many of you will even get more because you can actually now exactly put the lenses where your eyes are thanks to the real IPD adjustment. So HP also kept their second promise here with improving the sweet spot and the FOV of Revision 2 as compared to Revision 1. Next, let's talk about the sound. And as I told you, nothing has changed here. And that is a good thing because these headphones here are simply fantastic. They are floating above your ear, and well, you won't have any kind of hurting ears or so because of that. And you can stay within virtual reality for hours and hours at a time. And they also sound great. They have great bass, good and very good highs and mids. So it's simply fantastic sound. The best sound that you can get in virtual reality next to the Valve Index. And also for the microphone. The microphone is also really good, and I've checked it out for you, and let's listen in. Check 1 2, check 1 2 microphone check. This is the microphone of the HP Reverb G2 version 2. Peter Parker plays piano. Peter Parker plays piano. This is a microphone check of the HP Reverb G2 version 2. As you can tell, the mic is really good, and in multiplayer games you won't have any problems at all. And now we finally talk about controllers and tracking. You've probably been waiting for this for quite a while now. So let's start with the controllers. The controllers are still exactly the same controllers that we had in the Revision 1 before. And they are okay. Let's say it like this. They are all right. They are not great, but they are all right. So in terms of control scheme, we have a thumbstick, we have 2 buttons, we have 2 menu buttons, we have trigger and grip button. So very standard kind of control scheme, very good, because then it's compatible with all of these games that are coming out now. And yeah, well, that is all right. What is not so great about these controllers is actually the rumble function. The rumble function is bad. Let's simply say it like this. You don't really feel something as compared to, for example, the Oculus Touch controllers. For the Oculus Touch controllers, that is way better. You more hear something. So there is vibration that you can acoustically hear, but you don't really feel something. That is not so good. Then also better for the Oculus Touch controllers, actually here for the buttons, they are not capacitive buttons. So for the Oculus Touch controller, it knows where you have placed your thumb, right? But here you don't have that feature. Is it a huge problem? Actually, in most of the games, it isn't. But it's still a nice to have feature. Also, you need 2 batteries for each of the controllers, and for the Oculus Touch, you only need 1 battery, which will still last longer than here. And the reason is that the technology that's being used here for tracking is different. For the Oculus Touch controllers, you have like infrared light that is being used, and here you have a visible light, and yeah, that is simply not as good as compared to the Oculus Touch controllers. Yep, but actually they do feel good in the hands, very comparable to Oculus Touch, and honestly speaking, this is the good part, and they are okay. So it's not that you will feel terrible using them, they're just not as good as the competition, but indeed usable. But now, of course, the big question is the tracking actually better than it was with the first revision of the Reverb G2? And unfortunately, the answer is no. At least in my opinion, I could not actually feel a difference between revision 1 and revision 2 of the HP Reverb G2. Tracking is still good, but it's still restricted by the tracking volume. And of course, I've also recorded some videos of this. So again, in general, this works absolutely fine, and the tracking is good. Very comparable with the tracking of the Quest 2. So for most games, you won't have any problems. Occlusion, no problem. You can aim down the sights without any problem in any kind of first-person shooter, and you will enjoy it. Also, horizontally, no problems at all, right? Of course, because we do have the cameras there. But if you go down with your controllers, very much down indeed, or very much up, then, well, you will lose tracking, and then getting back into the field of view of the cameras, then the tracking will be there again. This is not a problem actually when you are in motion, because the algorithms are really very well, right? The algorithms that will guess where the controller is when the controllers get out of the field of view of the cameras. So this won't be a problem in general. But if you stay outside of the FOV of the cameras, then you might run into trouble. Also, what is better with the Quest 2, like you can get closer to your headset with the Quest 2 controllers, right? So for example, if you are in a boxing game and if you are holding your controllers up to your face in order to protect yourself, this might also be a problem here with the controller tracking of the HP Reverb G2. But again, for your standard gameplay where you normally move your controllers, you won't have problems. And I'm telling you, for 99% of people who are watching this, this won't affect you. But I must also very clearly say that the Quest 2 tracking is better. And if you need the perfect tracking, they will also track your controllers when, for example, your controllers are behind your back. You need to go for a Lighthouse tracked headset, like, for example, the Valve Index, the Pro 2, or the Pimax headsets. So unfortunately, I must say, for the third promise, improving the controller tracking, in my opinion, this is a promise which was not kept, and we must hope for the G3. So, dear HP, I know you're watching this. The G3 tracking must be so much better. All right, so now let's get to the conclusion. The HP Reverb G2 Revision 2 is one of the best virtual reality headsets out there. And if it's all about visuals for you, if you want to get the very best visuals in virtual reality for an affordable price, that's it. Especially for simmers who need to see further out in the distance, this is the better choice as compared to the Quest 2. Also, for the price, you get a very, very comfortable headset where everything is there directly out of the box. You get a great head strap. You get the best audio solution here, and this really is one of the best VR headsets out there. Also, it's great to see that HP actually cares about consumer feedback and that they solved the problems that the Revision 1 was plagued with. For example, the compatibility issues with AMD mainboards that are now solved here thanks to the new cable. Also, the sweet spot problems, because people couldn't get close enough to the lenses, also solved here with the Revision 2. Unfortunately, tracking is still the problem. It is okay and good enough for most people, but not as good as the competition. And for the G3, we need to see a much better tracking. So how does this compare to the Quest 2, which is around $200 cheaper? Well, it is tough not to recommend the Quest 2, of course, especially since it's wireless and you'll even get more exclusive games, standalone games with the Quest 2, right? So if you are a beginner to virtual reality and if you care about the ease of use and not having a gaming PC, then for sure I can also recommend the Quest 2 to you. However, you also have to take into consideration that the visuals will be better here and that out of the box you have great audio and a better head strap. And for the Quest 2, you would have to buy add-ons. So the $200, you're going to spend them very fast with the Quest 2. Also, you have to keep in mind that it's still from Meta and that right now they're still forcing you to use your Facebook login, right? Without Facebook login, you cannot use the Quest 2. And for many people, actually, that is much better here with the Reverb G2, and a big point to go for the Reverb G2 instead. I would simply say if visuals are the most important for you, like for simmers, go for the Reverb G2. If it's more about wireless for you and ease of use, then go for the Quest 2 if you're not bothered by the privacy issues. So how about all the owners of the Revision 1? Should you upgrade to Revision 2? My clear answer, no, you don't need it. It's exactly the same headset actually. The only difference is the gasket and the cable. But the cable, you can get it for free from HP. And well, the gasket, unfortunately, you cannot buy it from HP, but you can buy any of the mods that are out there to improve the FOV. And that's it for my full review of the HP Reverb G2 Revision 2. I really hope that you enjoyed it and it was helpful for you. If yes, give it a thumbs up. Of course, if you want to buy those headsets, you can buy them through my links down in the description of this video. These are affiliate links, and of course, you would help the channel with that, and I would be very grateful, obviously. Now, if you want to chat with me and the Team MRTV and others from the community, if you have more questions about all these headsets, simply join the MRTV Discord server. I'm waiting there for you right now in this moment, and it's about time that you join the Discord server and chat with me. Again, the link here down in the description of this video. Now, that's it. If you have not subscribed to MRTV yet, absolutely do that now, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next episode.